Hello everyone, my name is Livvydoodlez and welcome to the Hit Pause 64 guide on Fortuna. Before we get in, Fortuna is one of the trickiest all-range mode stages where you roughly have 3 minutes to complete the entire stage. You'll need to have acquired as many bombs as you can to ensure enemies keep spawning. For the first half, you only have 1 minute and 45 seconds before Starwolf will show up, and at that point, you will no longer be able to spawn more enemies. Before we get into it, let's first explain how the stage mechanics works a little bit more. In the middle of the map, there is a base that is set up with a bomb. 4 enemy ships will evacuate the base one at a time. When an enemy ship is destroyed, it will immediately respawn back at the base. This will give you a chance to farm charged mock shots or cuss at the base. If you refer to our Corneria video, you can use charge and mock shots for farming +1 points by holding a Z and R buttons to make sure you do not lock onto an enemy to indirectly destroy an enemy ship. Fortuna will also have little antennas spread across the map. These antennas will not give you a point unless you destroy them indirectly. These antennas will usually spawn a silver ring whenever they are destroyed. Finally, after Starwolf arrives, all enemy ships will stop spawning, and ones that are on screen tend to destroy themselves quickly, so you only have to focus on Starwolf. So with this stage, your goal is to shoot the middle of the base as best and as fast as you can, to make sure all enemies that spawn in the middle of the base will be destroyed from your cuss. This is tricky as the enemies do not continuously spawn unless one is destroyed, meaning if you let too many enemies spawn in the map, they will stop spawning from the base until they are destroyed again. When starting, you can either bomb or try to cuss at 2 ships that quickly spawn out of the base. Bombing would be easier, but if you bomb in the middle of the base hitbox will despawn. While cuss shots will travel through the base instead of on top of the base. This can still work finding +1 hits, but you would instead have to aim in the middle of the foundation of the base rather than the middle of the actual base. You will notice that Peppy, Slippy, and Falco are all live on this stage. Surprisingly, this is helpful, as them shooting down an enemy ship can result in them respawning in the middle of the base. This can prove to be helpful because while you may be turning to face a base again, there is a chance Peppy, Slippy, or Falco will shoot down an enemy, or have the enemy run into the base and destroy themselves to let you immediately start cuss spamming the base. Typically, in all the stages, having your teammates alive during a stage mostly result in them stealing points from you, although there is always a few exceptions where your teammates not being around will hurt your score as enemies will not spawn because they are not there, like in Sector X. At your first pass through starting the mission, your goal is to get as close as 10 points or higher. Starting at 8 is fine too, but below this number, you may want to try to start over. After you pass the base, you will want to quickly tap your boost instead of full boosting, to cuss the antenna and immediately do a U-turn to head back to the base again. Every all-range mode stage, at the 15 points by killing an enemy ship, they will spawn a laser upgrade. Although this could be really helpful, often the laser will spawn in the middle of the base because of your cuss spamming. You could attempt to get this laser upgrade still by ramming your ship into the base to pass through it and collecting a laser upgrade. However, this could be very tricky as naturally colliding with an object results in the object hitting you away rather than inside of the object. With your bombs, you will actually want to use bombs to get yourself in position with the base. Remember earlier how we said enemies will spawn instantly as they are destroying? So you would want to use your bomb to assure that multiple enemies die, so when you start cuss spamming the base, at least one of those ships respawning will get stuck by your cuss spam. Only bombing one enemy or just the base may result in you getting 2 ships destroyed, and by that time you might have already buzzed the tower. Unfortunately, there is no real route as to when to turn. However, you may want to use the antennas as a guide, because destroying the antennas will allow you to destroy them once again once Starwolf shows up. So like I said earlier, you will roughly have 1 minute and 45 seconds before Starwolf shows up, and all enemies will not spawn anymore. Your goal is to destroy all enemy ships before Starwolf shows up, and then if you take a checkpoint death after they show up, all antennas you've destroyed in the map before Starwolf will respawn. However, before we go after the antennas, we want to take this time to become a traitor to our team and shoot down Peppy, Slippy, and Falco. This will ensure that all of Starwolf will chase us rather than our teammates. As we are on a time limit, we need to make sure that we can get as many points off Starwolf as possible. Go around in a circle, finding antennas while breaking as much as you can when Starwolf is behind you. This will result in them following you and passing you by slowly. Use this time to aim at the ground so they follow you towards the ground so you can cuss the terrain to farm +1 hits of Starwolf. This is referred to as Starwolf grinding. For hit 64, you will not be able to submit a score in Venom 2 using this strategy, as Starwolf on Venom 2 will not take damages to charge shots or bombs, But seeing as in Fortuna they do take damage, and there is a time limit, this strategy is perfectly allowed. Be sure to try to stay away from hills or structures, as Starwolf will immediately die if you run into any object while flying. This will not only take away a +10 from you, but it will also take away all points you could have gained cussing them. You also want to refrain from letting Starwolf run into each other or yourself, but this can prove to be really difficult, especially when all 4 enemy teammates are chasing you down. If possible, you will want to keep cussing them until they are fully destroyed, but if a timer pops up, you will have to pick up your pace. If the timer drops below 50 seconds, all of Starwolf's team will be worth +5 points when they explode, rather than +10. Around 20 seconds left, this will drop even further to a +3 rather than a +5. And that's the full tutorial on Fortuna. Although the strategy is pretty simple, the execution is very difficult, as everything is based off of timing, RNG of enemy spawn, and your position at the time of enemy spawn. I hope this guide helps you understand how Fortuna works, and hope you can get the best punch you possibly can off the stage. Once again, my name is Livvydoodlez, and you can check me out at twitch.tv/Livvydoodlez, where I will often be playing variety retro games such as StarCraft 64, where I tend to run this planet, or Faux Roots. Be sure to check out hit64.net, where you can submit your scores, keep up with other score runners, find guides, or other software relating to StarCraft 64 for all your StarCraft 64 needs. Once again, have fun, good luck, and take care.